Hi guys, welcome to the first podcast of Digital Ninjas. Today we have our head and associate club head of Digital Ninjas with us, and our topic for the day is dark web. So I'll ask Anirudh to give a brief introduction about himself, followed by Shivam.
Hi guys, so my name is Anirudh and before Sahil I've been working with Accenture in the cybersecurity domain. I have been part of different teams within cybersecurity, coming back to then risk and compliance. Next issue.
So hi all, Shivam this side. I have been working in an IT firm for 3 years. I have been a software developer and also I have a strong inclination towards technologies and technical geeky stuff. So let's get started with our podcast for today.
So the first question I would like to ask is for Shivam. Shivam, I have heard that there is something called surface web, deep web, and dark web. Can you throw some light on that?
Sure, Sahil, I'll do that. So starting from the web hierarchy, we have surface web, then deep web, and then dark web. Starting with surface web, you can say that surface web is something which is easily accessible to all and one can easily access without any credential or anything. For example, if we say Google, anything available on Google is on surface web, be it any information regarding your videos, audios, PDFs, books, ebooks, everything they are considered to be on surface web. Moving on to the deep web, it is something which is available for all but is not accessible to all. Basically, we can say that anything which requires you as a user to give out their credentials and then it is accessible to them, then we can say that it is on deep web. Following the example, we can say that all the research papers, all the Harvard case studies, check as a surface application, private networks of companies and all those things, they are on deep web. And for surface web, as I already shared that, which all things that Google is providing is on surface web. That's it.
So what is dark web?
So basically, any surface web or deep web, these are all indexed by the browsers. Whatever the browser you're using, either it is Google or Bing or any other Yahoo or whatsoever. However, dark web is something that is not accessible or is indexed by these browsers. So you have to use different kind of tools to access it, and the information within the dark web could be, I won't say illegal, but could be considered as illicit, explicit. Not everyone uses dark web for foul purposes. It has its own perks and it could be called as a boon or a bane, but it is something that is not accessible by all. You'll need different tools to access this.
Shivam, is it illegal to access dark web? Like I've heard that about Silk Road and everything. So is it legal? Is it safe for people like us, like me being a non-tech guy? Can I access it or should I access it?
So answering the very first question that you asked, that is it legal or not? So it is very much legal. It is not that what we literally hear of, like people say a lot that it is not legal. It has some very bad content in layman terms. If I say it is not that much harmful for people, but the way how we access it and how precurely we take upon the information which is on dark web, that's make a difference, like whether it is a boon or bane for us. And the way how we access it is via specific tunneling browsers. So there are specific tunneling browsers. For example, if we say there is a Tor browser or Onion browser, we say by which we can access dark web. So the process follows is just like when a user gets into the browser turns their IP into multiple tunnels, and the VPN structure follows, which it follows is that the original IP is somehow directed to a virtual IP, and that's how the user is not directly directed towards the information, and somehow there is a process which we call as VPN tunneling. This makes the original VPN, original IP of a user into a virtual IP, and that's how the receiver doesn't recognize which user is coming on and what is the information that is grabbing onto.
So basically, like in legal terms, we say caveat emptor, let the buyer beware.
Yes.
You need to be careful about what you browse and
Exactly, that's how it works.
So as Anirudh said that we require special tools. Would you like to shed some light on what kind of tools or what kind of setup we require to access dark web?
So basically, there are two major browsers that tools we use. One of them is Tor, the other one being Onion. So before I move on to that, I'll explain to you how the internet works. So what happens is whenever you are looking for something on Google, basically what you're doing is you're requesting the information from Google. Now there are servers which are situated somewhere in the US. You are requesting that information from those servers. So what happens is it will first your IP from where you are accessing the information. It will be jumped from your state to your country. Then it will be requesting from the US. So the information is already stored somewhere. So your IP is being traced. Now what happens in the Tor or an Onion browser is the request is being jumped multiple times. There are multiple relays, and which makes it hard to trace. And that's how the main purpose of using Tor or Onion is that the major reason is anonymity. So you have to be anonymous. If you are using if you are getting traced, then that could have very hard repercussions. So which is why we use Tor and Onion, which basically do the relay of the IPs, which makes you untraceable or unreachable at that point in time.
So what all can I find on dark web? Like you mentioned that there are things that are useful, there are things that are not so legal. So what all kind of things are you referring to?
So okay, on this part I'll like state my answer with an example. If I being a student jump onto dark web, what will I find? Definitely there will be a better half and there will be a not so much better half that we'll be finding on the dark web. So as a student, if I get into the dark web, if I am very much positive towards what information I am seeking through it, I'll be definitely going to get a lot of free research papers, free Harvard studies, free analysis report, free raw data on which I can analyze regarding a company of a specific region, domain, or any part. And if not being that much positive towards what I am seeking through it, what else I can find on the dark web is credit card dumps and very specific information which is very much personal to people. They are also being published on dark web. So if I jump on that part, then the functionality of dark web will be totally different for me as being a student. So there are good positive points for a student on being a dark web, and there are negative terms as well.
So Anirudh, you having experience in security, what all special measures should I take when I am browsing dark web?
So you should be very careful what link are you clicking on. You won't be aware when you are redirected to a different page altogether, and when you are losing your remote access to your system. Dark web basically what it does is it shows dumps which are multiple links which can redirect to you, and remote what it is basically based on is what we call is a remote code execution. Someone sitting in some other part of the world will gain access and could be executing commands on your behalf on your system. So you should be very aware of that you are not clicking on any malicious links, because it is very hard to differentiate between a malicious link and a legitimate link. So what we used to do is whenever when you see a link, you don't identify it. First of all, don't click on it. Absolutely, if you have no idea what there is on the other side of that link, don't click on it. What you can do is basically hover on the link. It will show you where it is redirecting to you. Now, dark web is not a domain itself. So any link that ends with .onion or .ly is a dark web link. So you can hover on it and it will show you where the page is being redirected. So at that point in time, you can decide, okay, should I go or should I not? Because it will dump so many adwares. What adwares is basically spamming your system with ads, malicious codes. So which basically corrupts the system. So going on those suspicious links or not clicking on anything you see is something I would suggest not to do so.
And Shivam, would you like to suggest some websites or some instances that have happened in the past that might make picture for dark web a bit more clearer?
Yes, definitely. I had one with myself. So it was the time when I was in college, third year. I, along with my friends, were just browsing over the Tor browser, and I was very much excited to show them that what all we can find in the dark web space. So I straight away searched for what are the specific sites where or specific information that you can grab upon from the dark web. So that was the black box audio recordings. Black box is, many of you will be knowing, but still I'll state what it is. Black box is something which it is a device which is implanted on the aeroplanes for communication part. They track the communication of the pilot and the servers. So I heard a lot of them, and I was too much into it that nearly 3 to 4 hours of my time was totally dedicated towards it. And after I switched off that recording part, I had a lot of what my friend Anirudh said, malicious websites, malicious spamming emails. I got a lot in my I didn't even knew that even just by if you are hovering over, if you are browsing over, you still can get affected by these spamming attacks. So that was one incident that happened to me, and since that time till today I haven't browsed on Tor, and I will not suggest browsing on Tor without having a past or prior knowledge of what spams are, what attacks can you get onto.
So, Anirudh, can I access Tor websites on my mobile? And if yes, can I use that Tor browser to access normal websites as well?
See, Tor is basically, it gives you the anonymity, which is fulfilling the purpose of the dark web. You can access the surface web or the deep web using Tor as well. I wouldn't recommend you to access dark web on the phone. Yes, it is possible. You'll have to do additional measures, because there are certain measures that are there in the your laptops or systems. Firewalls basically that does not properly work in, I'll say, your phones. So which basically poses a threat on your data that you're storing in your phone. Basically, if someone gains access to your mobile phone, it is very easy to gain access to your phone compared to your system. So if someone access, they can remotely open up your recorder, dial phone, they can download your entire directory. Basically, a history of your phone could be replicated or cloned in a different device.
So that's a very grim picture that you've painted, you both guys have painted. I hope that this was going to be a positive discussion, but apparently it is not so. So guys, that's all from our side this week. If you guys have any suggestions or any topics that you would like to suggest us to cover in the next podcast, please feel free to reach out to Anirudh or Shivam. Thank you.